Hey, dude, how's it?
What's up?
You right?
You aight? Nice.
You right? Who are you, bro? What you doing? Who are you?
I'm Luke. You might know me from such thing as Caskheads, a podcast about whiskey for whiskey. GNS Radio, a podcast about a town's mysterious takeover by an evil megacorporation told by a radio host. Insert trailer at the end of this episode. Stay tuned to the end of this episode for special trailers. Also, Caffeine Adult Games, a YouTube channel where we game.
And I am Shannon. You may know me from GNS Radio as the citizen, formerly known as Babs, because Babs is amazing. And this podcast, which I'm not going to say the name of because I don't want the podcast to suddenly end, because that is a rule.
So what we're going to be talking about today, Shannon?
We're going to be talking today about something that I hold very, very close to my heart, which is animation. And the reason why we're going to be talking about this today is because on Thursday, I am actually going and getting a sleeve started, a tattoo sleeve, which is going to have little nods to certain animations and things that I really care about incorporated in the design, so I am absolutely buzzing.
You'll have probably already have got it by the time this is released, or at least started.
By the time this is released, it will have definitely been started. I have a session on Thursday.
Are you possibly gonna post images on an Instagram, perhaps?
I may possibly post images onto an Instagram. That would be my Instagram, which you can go follow if you want. It is the crazy pixel with underscores instead of spaces. So that's why we're going to talk about animation today and just nostalgia dive basically into memories with animation, what we like about animation, and I know you can do some animation.
I can do animation in the loosest term of animation because I can't draw. To be like, you went to art school, I went to film school. The combination is there, but neither of us have the full.
We don't have the full package, unfortunately.
I can do puppet animation and still image animation, and that's literally it. And sometimes I do typography animation, which is tedious, but not difficult.
But it's still a step above me, who's only ever, animated, I think, an eye opening and closing, because it's been something that I would love to try, but I've never really had the drive or the patience for it. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I understand that animation can take so much time, especially when it comes to, stop motion animation.
Oh, I've done stop motion animation in college.
It's my favourite type of animation, I think. Stop motion animation, where you have to physically move the puppets and take the picture, and then it just takes so much time and effort and love and care, and there's something just really satisfying about stop motion. I just would never have the patience.
It's great. It takes 8 years of your life.
Yeah, but it's such a passion project, I think. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever watched Isle of Dogs by, I think it's Wes Anderson?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, it's so good. Every individual hair on every puppet and...
I know how tedious that was, so, stop motion animation is...
It's ridiculous. People don't get enough credit for what they do and what they make. Do you know what I mean?
I know, it's so underestimated. I would say it's easily the most time-consuming one.
And yet it's just never... I don't think it's ever given quite the props that it deserves. Do you have any, animated films or animated TV shows that when you were... And obviously your memory isn't exactly great, but is there anything that, stands out to you as, a nostalgic memory? I remember Cartoon Network and Powerpuff Girls and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dexter's Lab. Do you know what I mean? We're talking about early...
So my favourite animated film when I was younger was Thumbelina, but not because of the animation. I just really love Thumbelina.
You see, I didn't think anyone else even ever seemed to know what Thumbelina was, because I loved that when I was younger. My granddad bought it me on VHS, and I can't even remember when I got it given to me. I think it was just given to me at that young an age. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously it was a bit old, but it was so good, and it was just, I don't know, it was a comforting story. Yeah, I used to like Thumbelina a lot.
Yeah, it's a comforting story that she gets, kidnapped by frogs and stuff.
Yeah. What?
I do absolutely remember VHS when you had to put it in, then you had to stop and rewind it so you could watch it from the beginning. And you just had to let it play. Yep,
all the way back. Just let it play. And whenever you tried to pause it instead of just stopping it, it would be this weird, horrible, jittery, thing on the screen with the lines going across it. And it's just Simba's having a bad time.
Yeah. Animation I do really like from films, and it's a recent one, it's definitely the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yes.
I think everyone loves that animation, but like the way it's done and the way that the frames change is really good.
Yes, and the fact that they can manage to get so many different styles of animation to work together is really impressive, because sometimes I think when there's certain films where they try and blend in, you know, say something that's quite an anime style to something that's like CGI, sometimes I don't think it works. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it can feel a bit...
Oh yeah, I don't like when there's like 3D and 2D.
Yeah, that's something that I think can work well, but sometimes it just throws you off. Like, I can't say I don't absolutely adore Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that film. That was so good. I used to watch that so much. I love that film.
You see, I watched it a couple of times when I was younger, but it wasn't one I was obsessed with. So I've watched that film, like, probably at least 6 times in the past 8 years, compared to, like, twice and for the rest of my life. And I can't help but just absolutely fall in love with it.
You know what's really interesting? How, like, certain things stay with you. So, like, with Roger Rabbit, I've always got that quote of Jessica when she's like, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way.
Yeah, like you said, she's not bad, she's just drawn that way. It's just about the creative idea. It's such...
I love that comment, because it's literally... It says everything about her entire character in a way.
Basically.
And the way she's been perceived.
Yes, she looks like this, but that doesn't make her a bad girl. She's just... That's just how she looks.
Yeah, like, it's not her fault, obviously.
It's just who she is. Like, it's just who she is. That's how she was made. But yeah, I'd never seen the original, the Peter Jackson live-action Lord of the Rings films until, like, 3 years ago when it was pandemic time. Because I'd always just had, when I was growing up, my dad, he took me to Blockbuster really, really often. And in the bargain bin...
I forgot about Blockbuster.
See, Blockbuster for me was such a pivotal part of my childhood. Like, there was nothing for me that was more exciting than going on the weekend and picking out a game or a film that I wanted to watch and just taking it home for a few days. But in one of the bargain bins in the Blockbusters, there was actually a VHS tape of the animated Lord of the Rings by Ralph Bakshi. But yeah, I never watched the Lord of the Rings live movies because I just held on so dearly to the animated one that Ralph Bakshi made. And it's like, I haven't seen it since.
I don't think I've ever watched or even heard of the animated Lord of the Rings.
Oh my god. Right. So it's old. It's very, very old. And it's like a massive part of my childhood. So 1978 is when it was made. Like I said, it was 1978, and I believe it was Ralph Bakshi that did the animation for it. Because he was like, that was like the first time I ever heard his name, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong because I'm terrible with pronunciation. I found him when I was younger, and then ever since I've just kind of like followed his stuff as well as I've got older. And I just think it's really interesting how I don't have many solid memories of like early childhood, but a lot of the ones I do have, they do kind of centre around animation and the comfort, you know, like Disney films when I was a kid, and then as I got a bit older, getting into like Studio Ghibli, obviously, in my teenage years, and just...
Oh, Howl's Moving Castle, one of my favourite Studio Ghibli ones.
Howl's Moving Castle is just absolutely...
His room with all of the different parts of it and everything, and how it's all just moving and everything, that's...
They just create, like, environments that just make you feel like they exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that is something... Because I love Disney, okay? I loved Disney as a kid. Lion King was my jam. But as soon as I found Ghibli, it was just kind of, like, more elevated, and you could tell that a lot more love and passion, I think, went into every single little detail of these films. Do you know what I mean?
One of the first ones I watched was, I think it's Spirited Away.
Yes.
It scared me.
It scared me, and the thing is, the reason why I quite like the Ghibli films is because there was always a bit more of a deeper message behind them. Do you know what I mean? They're not afraid to kind of teeter on the line where it's like acceptable for children, but also it's acceptable for adults. You know, it's got those deeper meanings in that I don't think you really notice when you're a child, that you kind of take more out of them as you get older. Because
I mean, the message in House Moving Castle is definitely, if you dye your hair really bad, it's okay, you will survive.
Yeah, I've had to take that lesson with me a lot in my life, you know, like...
I have literally been through what Hal went through when he dyed his hair bad. Like, that happened to me and I related on a level.
But, like, I remember when I first started, when I think Spirited Away was the first Ghibli film I actually physically bought. You know that moment when they go into the theme park and it becomes nighttime and all the spirits begin coming and emerging out of, like, the stalls and the food stands, and there's the boat with all the... Oh, my word. Just my jaw when I saw the light, how they captured the lights, and everything about that shot was just instantly, I was obsessed.
You know what? I very specifically remember House Moving Castle because I was on holiday and it was on the TV, and I do believe It, like the film It, the old one though, was playing before it.
What? So you just had Tim Curry playing Pennywise, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, here, have House Moving Castle.
Yeah, so I obviously couldn't handle it, and I walked away, and then when I went, like, downstairs again, that was on, and I was like, this is a weird... But that was when I first watched it, I'm pretty sure, and it was great.
It's weird how these memories stick in your mind, though, isn't it?
It really is.
I remember when I first watched Snow White on DVD, because I did have it on video, but then I got it on DVD as well at some point when I was younger, I think.
That's the old proper drawing style of animation as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's the first feature-length released around 1939, maybe?
That's a pub quiz question.
1938, you know. I was 1 year off. Can we just have a moment to appreciate my weird knowledge of holding in information? But yeah, so 1938, it was the first Disney feature-length movie. And at the end of this DVD, there was a old-school look behind the scenes of the animation at the time, back in the 30s. So obviously there were these really old-school shots of people, like a lady in a dress spinning round, and the animators kind of like doing a movement study of the dress and the skirt and how it would flow. And then obviously you had the ladies that were like doing the colours on the acetate, and it just went into the whole process. I remember seeing that and just being like, this has given me a new appreciation for animation. And that was at a very, very, very young age, and I just felt... I think I watched that making of more than I actually watched Snow White, because I just found it fascinating to see how it went from little, you know, half an hour, 10-minute cartoons of like Mickey, you know, Steamboat Mickey, to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is obviously feature length, it's longer, the colours in it and the backgrounds in it are beautiful. They're not House Moving Castle or Spirited Away beautiful, but they are like still... absolutely stunning for the time. Like, they are pieces of art, and just how they work.
Have you ever watched Black Cauldron?
I have watched Black Cauldron once. I cannot remember it well. I just remember it terrified me.
That wasn't... Yeah, I've not watched it loads of times, but that was another really good one that sticks in my head quite well.
Obviously, for me as well, there's, like, The Lion King. And the second Lion King as well, Simba's Pride. Obsessed as a kid with... Lion King.
I remember it, but it doesn't hit the same way that, like, Thumbelina and Roger Rabbit and Sleeping Beauty do.
Yeah, I think for me it does, just because it was such a comfort. As we know, Snow White, as we were saying earlier, Snow White made in 1938, you can still watch it today and it still looks beautiful. It still looks pristine. Like, obviously they've done HD remakes of it and they've improved and saved the animation, because obviously... things like that do deteriorate over time, but the animation doesn't age. And that's the beautiful thing about animation. If you look after it and you preserve it...
That's it.
It doesn't age. I could take Snow White that was made in 38, and if I, say, had a child down the line, if I want that kid to watch Snow White, they can watch Snow White and they'll get exactly the same experience that they got from it in 10 years that I got in the 90s. It's the same with, like, Lion King and Aladdin.
Here's the thing, though. I think that only holds up with old ones.
Do you think?
I don't think so. The early 2000s, the animation was very early 2000s. I don't think that holds up the same, and I don't think new animation holds up the same way new CGI doesn't.
No.
Whereas if you watch the old stuff where it's drawn, like Howl's Moving Castle, like Sleeping Beauty and all that stuff, that holds up because it's stylized in that way.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
As opposed to modern stuff, it won't age because it's constantly being redone to look more and more realistic, to the point where the previous stuff doesn't look realistic anymore.
Yeah, and it kind of defeats the point of animation being an artistic practice, which is what it should be. It should be something that we use to create these beautiful, strange, wonderful fantasy worlds like you have in Howl's Moving Castle and in the original Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. And another one I always really loved was a Disney film, Sword in the Stone. I don't know if you remember it, with Merlin and Arthur.
Yes. Oh, I love Sword and Stone.
No one else seemed to take that one so seriously, but like I hold that one holds a special place in my heart for me. Because it's just, you can see all the watercolour backgrounds and the drawings and the character animations and everything about it. I can still watch that today and it hasn't aged for me, I don't think. But when it comes to things like Toy Story, I do think that might be a little bit different because obviously it was the first feature-length CGI film, correct? Yeah, Toy Story was the first computer-animated feature film and the debut feature release from Pixar Animation Studios, released in 1995. I think when it comes to Toy Story, obviously the CGI, that has aged badly. I don't think it's aged well. I mean, obviously it's Pixar, so there's still like a high level, but compared to your Sleeping Beauty, your Sword in the Stone,
yeah,
where it's been physically drawn, I don't think that's aged as well as, you know, the newer ones look amazing. Like the newer Toy Stories are beautiful, but
it's the same way, and this is definitely going to be a out of the ballpark. Do you remember Stuart Little?
Stuart Little, oh my word, that's a throwback.
The mouse in Stuart Little hasn't aged well because that was like early 2000s animation that looked amazing back then, but now it's like, well...
Yeah, but now it's like, oh no. But it's the same with like video games. I remember playing like Grand Theft Auto Vice City when I was like 10. I shouldn't have been playing it, but I did. Anyway... And I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, this is the most detailed game I've ever played in my life. This is amazing. And then you put it in now and it's just like polygon faces and you just kind of...
I remember that with the Lara Croft games. She was like 4 triangles, essentially.
Oh, Lara Croft.
But yeah, that's another thing in which games are getting very realistic to the point where the older ones that were realistic back then no longer look realistic now.
Yeah, and they don't hold up, I don't think. Some of them... I mean, obviously, as you've gone through gaming history and, like, certain control schemes have just been, you know, set into being bog standard, you know, like, so you aim with your left trigger, you shoot with your right, whatever, that's kind of become adopted. Because before, it was just Wild Wild West, you know, one game would be one button, the next game would be the other button, as you do. But I think some older games, they just don't, as much as you have nostalgia for them, if you go back and play them now, they don't hold up. Like, they're too difficult to play.
But I will say, animation style, in gaming specifically, is Little Nightmares, because that's such a...
Little Nightmares!
Specific animation, I think that will hold up.
That is going to hold up, no issue. Like, I love that game. The animation style in that game, like the Tim Burton-esque, that whole game, it oozes atmosphere for me. And I think...
It does...
It oozes atmosphere so much more than Call of Duty shooting super realistic, like...
Shooting and booting,
like, I'm just not... I love things like Little Nightmares and games that just have a style to them. Like Hades.
Yes.
Like, that is a game that the whole art style and aesthetic of it is just absolutely stunning, and I love the character designs.
And I think that'll hold up as well, the same way that, like, Castlevania still holds up.
Yes.
Because it's not realistic, and it's not meant to be.
No, and that's what makes it beautiful. Like, I think as well, the Zelda games still hold up, you know, like Majora's Mask and stuff.
I love the Zelda games.
They still hold up. I believe they still hold up. Obviously, there's still some, like, janky moments with the controls, and because obviously some of them are older. But
Yeah, but that's like mechanics.
yeah, that's mechanics. When it comes to the actual style of it, they just always have this like weirdly comforting thing about them. Breath of the Wild was actually the first Zelda game I ever proper got into.
Mine was definitely Wind Waker.
Oh, you see, I've never played it. It's on the list.
Borderlands, another game with very specific animation that will age well.
Oh, yes, exactly. Borderlands.
I love the Devil May Cry games.
But the Devil May Cry games, it's another game. Like, the animation style is great. Yeah, Devil May Cry is another one that I think, style-wise, I don't know if it's going to age well because I have tried playing the third one since. And
it's a bit too
janky, but it's also pretty good, to be honest. Like, I still enjoy it, but it doesn't quite hold up as well.
One of my favourite things in animation is always background details, so obviously Studio Ghibli, like I've said 101 times, like the background details, but Little Nightmares, the background details of that are really good as well, because the more you see, Little Nightmares is one of those ones that, like, you see stuff in the background that you can't focus on, obviously, because you're running through the game.
Yeah, running, sprinting, trying to run away from the creepy janitor and the chefs.
But there's little details.
There's so many little details, and it just builds up this kind of atmosphere of what the moor is actually like. Like, you feel like you are 6, you know, you feel like you're this tiny young person in a place where essentially, from what I understand, is what the great thing about Little Nightmares is the landscape is incredibly important to the storytelling, because obviously there's no voices in it, there's no speech in the first one. I don't know about the second one, but there is no speech. So the whole story is told through the environment and the animations.
That's it. I really like it when animations build an environment.
Yes. Did you ever play Limbo, where it's like the black and white 2D animation, it's just a silhouette? So that's exactly the same kind of thing as Little Nightmares, where it's like telling a story, but there's no speech. There is no speech. The whole story is told through the sound effects, the animation, and the environments, which is obviously impressive. Very impressive. I just wanted to talk about Breath of the Wild, because you know how they've done kind of the cel-shaded feel to it?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. I don't think that is ever going to age poorly. Like, I think the animation style and the landscapes and everything about it, aesthetically, the music, I don't think it's going to age poorly at all, because it is just so perfectly polished and stylized, and it's just beautiful.
But what's your favourite style of animation?
My favourite style of animation?
Of all the animation you've seen, which is your favourite kind? So, like, drawing or...
This is such a hard question, because my brain instantly... There's the part of me that goes, oh, I adore the world of Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Everything about the animation style and the 2D aspect of it, and landscapes, the music, every single thing about Spirited Away is just... And Howl's Moving Castle as well. Like, Miyazaki films, they are... Is it Miyazaki? Is that his name? Yeah, Miyazaki. Let's just go with Miyazaki, because I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. H. Miyazaki, because I don't want to butcher his first name, because I respect him too much. But, yeah, everything about Howl's Moving Castle and, like, the care and the detail that go into that just makes me want to scream for that, because every single shot, you could take it and put it on a wall, and it would be a piece of art. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
100%.
It is so beautiful.
It is so beautiful. But then there's that part of me that can't help but turn around and be like, I have such a soft place in my heart for stop motion because of things like South Park, obviously, when that first came out.
Is that stop motion?
Originally, it was made out of cut up pieces of paper when it first
Really?
became a thing. Yeah. Have you ever watched season 1 of South Park?
No.
So season 1 of South Park, construction paper and traditional stop motion cut-out animation techniques were used in the original animated shorts and in the pilot episode. Subsequent episodes have been produced by computer animation, providing a similar look to the originals while requiring a fraction of the time to produce.
Oh, wow.
So it started off with cut-out pieces of paper, and South Park was a big part of my childhood. Like, I shouldn't have been watching it, I saw it way too early. At the time, obviously, it was all about the fart jokes, and as I've got older and I've rewatched it, because I have seen it multiple times all the way through.
You just like it.
I absolutely adore it because obviously when you're a kid it's all the fart jokes, and then when you get older you realise how witty it actually is. Because it is like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they have created something that is just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's been the episode about films and stuff, and
all the crazy dive into the animations and how I could never hope to create anything so beautiful and masterful. Thank you for your art, Mikey.
a two-parter. So stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2, stay tuned.
And stay tuned for a secret trailer.
Ooh, secret trailer, best thing.
Bye.
Bye, bye-bye.
We do other stuff too, so here's a trailer for our podcast, GNS Radio.